Today, on Awakening Conversations, we are joined by someone whose life has been shaped by truth, integrity, and a deep inner calling. Sri Tulasi Peddola is a software engineer, a mother of two, and a woman who has always chosen authenticity over convenience. In recent years, her life has taken a profound spiritual turn, sparked not by dramatic events, but by quiet moments, unexpected encounters, and a growing sense that something deeper was waiting to be discovered. Her journey is raw, sincere, and incredibly relatable. Today, she is opening that journey for us with honesty, clarity, and a heart that's learning to trust its own wisdom. Tulsi, welcome.
Namaste. Namaste, Dinesh ji.
So, as we enter into the journey, my first question is you always lived with a strong sense of truth and responsibility. Before your spiritual journey began, what did living aligned mean to you on a daily basis?
Um, um, Hello to all who has joined. Thank you so much for joining. My journey was always different than everybody around me. I used to choose authenticity over convenience, like Dinesh was saying. And how is it daily is doing the next thing which is right, like whatever seems right to me for that moment. I used to choose that option instead of what is convenient. That's a daily practice for me. It is never a question, because without choosing what was right for that moment, my soul wouldn't be like letting me go with the flow. So I always love to go with the flow. So that's what my answer would be for that question, Dinesh.
So, could you give us an example where you had this dilemma,
Uh-huh.
convenience and right, so that our
Uh-huh.
viewers can understand what you actually chose, even though
Yes.
it may have been difficult?
Yes. Especially when I became a mother, I had to learn a lot about what does a raising a child mean. Raising a child in a more balanced way than what we have always known to be. Then there comes a point where kids are pretty adamant in what they want, and then you have to make a um, um, middle point where you convince them, and also you do what is right for them. It will be against my dharma if I give something to them which is not good for them. Even though they cry, you don't just give in to them whatever they want, because you choose what is right for them, as you are a responsible parent, and you have to choose what is right for them, because there will be consequences in the future if you don't make the right choice that moment. If you give in to the feelings of emotions, or she's crying or she's hurting, you wouldn't make those choices. So every day, if I were consistent with her, with what I want best for her, um, then I can be in a better place for her future also. She may not understand, she may misjudge me, or she may think that I am being very like stubborn on that point. But there are some things that they can choose, but there are some things they cannot choose, especially health related, studies related. You'll have to take a step there. So that is one example I can share.
Thank you. Thank you for the clarity. Now, you have shared that even while doing everything right,
Mhm.
something still in you felt incomplete.
Mhm.
What was that inner restlessness trying to tell you?
Yeah, this kind of started with me, like it was not enough. Whatever I was doing, um, the environment kind of kept telling me that it was not enough. And then I felt like, how come that is not enough? I am choosing right for that moment, and why will it be not enough? I wanted to have more clarity on this question. I didn't know whom to go to, so I went inside at that time to find out the answers within myself. Because by the time I heard a lot of stories because I used to get these suggestions in YouTube. Um, uh, there was one story where Santosh Buddha, he's a bus conductor from India. He lost his second son because his son was traveling in a auto, and the lorry driver hit the auto. His second son was actually sitting at the back of the auto, like back seat, but everybody else were fine. Only that person got yeah. So and then this person first filed the complaint and all, and then later he withdrew the complaint. He was sharing this journey in the YouTubes, and it kind of intrigued me. How come he with like we will be busy with our daily works, but he went into meditation, spiritual news and all that. He was telling a lot of information about karma. How come a person who is leading his day-to-day life takes a step back and then looks at all this in a different perspective? I wanted to learn about his story. So then I reached out to the channel who interviewed him to give me his contact number, and then they shared the number. Then I called him to find out his journey, and then he said that in his journey, just before this incident happened, 10 days before, there was one person who used to randomly come, and then he's called Fakir in India, and he said that please keep your children at home for 10 days, don't let them go out, is what he said. As usual, we kind of brush it off and then go about it. So he did that, and suddenly this happened after 10 days, and that question raised in him that how come that person knew that this is going to happen, and how come I didn't know? I wanted to know that. So he did his meditation journey experience and knowledge share for 4 years. Then he came to the point that, oh, okay, there is a something called karma, and you have to understand this topic to understand in depth. Then he shared a lot of knowledge about so many other experiences that he got. So this was my inspiration to go deeper, because if he can do it, why cannot I do it? Like, he find his answers himself, so why can't I find my answers myself?
So that is very good, very insightful. So, when you wanted to find your answers by yourself, so how did you stumble upon, a meditation?
Yes. So around my when I was home at that time for my second child birth, and we get these company holidays, not holidays, sorry, company break to care for the children. At that time, one of our neighbor, she is doing pyramid meditation for 41 days, it seems, and she kind of came to see our daughter, and then she shared her story that. That was very tough for me to do 41 days. It is a really challenging one for me, is what she shared. And then I found, oh, okay, that kind of made an impression on my mind that, oh, okay, there is something called pyramid meditation, and people do 41 days of meditation daily. And then after this, I didn't start my meditation right then and there, but after 6 months, there was like my relative, my uncle, he came to visit us in San Diego, and he because he was here, we just went out to the park with the kids. And at that time, from somebody randomly, when we were roaming around the park, from Hare Rama Hare Krishna organization, some person approached us, and he said, please take these books. He gave about like 7 8 books, I think. And then I said, no, no, I do not want to buy them. Then my uncle said, no, no, it will be helpful for your younger one. She can read those books, so let me get them. So he kind of gifted them to us, and then I got them home. So at that time, I was home due to my break, due to pregnancy leave, and then I started reading these books around my break time, and I came across this. Soul reincarnation, how the same life force is among all of us, like even the animals, birds, everything is connected. So then it kind of recollected my memories, because even in my childhood, when my mom used to do a lot of pujas and spiritual, like religious activities, I used to just sit there in deep trance state. Even after everybody left, even after the puja is done, I used to sit there for 1 hour. At that time I didn't know that that was meditation, but I used to sit, it seems. And my parents never disturbed me. She's sitting, and then that's okay, let her sit. But then this kept repeating, like multiple times I used to sit like that, and many people started talking like, why is she sitting like that? And one of the neighbors and relatives kind of told my mom that this might impact her studies. Why do you want to go into that so young? Um, Try to reduce her spiritual related activities or religious related activities, and then maybe make her focus on studies. Once she completes her studies, maybe she can get back, was the suggestion that they gave to my mom. And then my mom she used to take me to retreats and all at that time, for like 3 days of retreats and all. She stopped gradually by not taking me outside to those events. So after 10 years, I started into this whole materialistic world, and until my neighbor came and told me about this. Pyramid societies, meditation and all of that. I was into completely materialistic world until then.
So, what about that moment, where your neighbor told you about this 41 days meditation? What stayed with you long after the conversation ended? So, when did you start meditating?
Um, I think I started meditation after about 1 year, since the time she mentioned that pyramid meditation, and then the time that I started. Like I said, even though I was trying my best, even though I was exhausted, I tried my best every day. I tried to fulfill my responsibilities to the best of my capabilities, and still it felt like it was not enough. So then, okay, then what else can I do to make it a more harmonious situation? I wanted to go into that. Then I came across this um, Isha Foundation Shivaratri event in San Diego. They do Isha Foundation events in Tamil Nadu, but they do rent a place here, and then have Isha volunteers come, and then do Shivaratri in a in a small way here in San Diego also. So then I signed up, and then I contacted them to find out if I can get my daughter also there, because I have two kids, and then I wanted to get my elder one there. They said, yeah, kids also are allowed. Then I went there, and it was an overnight meditation. At that time, Sadhguru launched an application called Miracle app, I think. It's about, all he was saying is that, can you give me 7 minutes of your life? Sorry, 7 minutes of your day. That's all I'm asking for. Can you just do that for me? Then I was like, okay, 7 minutes of meditation. I always like to challenge myself with like consistency. I am more about consistency more than anything else. So yeah, why don't I just start it? It's 7 minutes of the day. Let me start. So that kind of Miracle app is the one who encouraged, like, is the one who is behind this 7 minutes journey started. And then later I gradually it increased to 30 minutes and 1 hour also. But it happened so organically. It is not like I didn't push myself for a goal or anything. It's just that take it day by day, whatever comes to this day. If I can do it in the morning, I used to do, in the night I used to do, maybe in the office break I used to do. Because my point is that I should be consistent more than about timing, because around sometimes it is busy in the office, sometimes it is less. So work around your way, but make sure to get it at any time in the day, was my thing at that time.
So, you started meditating like 7 minutes, then, a couple of times during the day, being consistent, you increased the duration to 30 minutes, and then thereafter maybe to an hour. So, what sort of experiences came along in this journey?
Yeah. So before I share my experiences, I also wanted to share to the viewers that without me asking or looking for it, so many video suggestions around Kundalini activation, Kundalini Shakti, it got into my feed. I never heard of that word called Kundalini before that video came into my feed. And then I don't know what came into me. I clicked that video, and then I was walking in my, like, I take walks in the afternoon in the office. So I was listening to that. And then that person is shared. Like he used to get people who have had Kundalini activations, and they used to speak what happened, like what changed, how it kind of transformed their journey. There was a major point that stuck with me is that he said Kundalini is a very gentle life force, like very subtle life force. All you have to do is sit there. What it does, energy manages its own things. You don't do Kundalini, it happens to you. And then there is nothing to be afraid of, there is nothing to be fearful about. This is your actual truth, which nobody talked about until now. But there are many experiences people have shared, who have got jobs because of they coming to meditation. They have transformed their lives because of meditation. And I heard all these stories. There were also other feeds that came into me that Kundalini is dangerous and all of that. But somehow, maybe my soul guided me towards the one which said that it is a subtle life force. There is nothing to be afraid of. You just have to sit and it takes care of itself. Then I kind of completely in flow with that word, whatever they said in that. Since I started meditation, I was sitting there, and then, yeah, a lot of thoughts came. One example Santosh Buddha gave is that when the room is like it has not been used in several years, and you suddenly go into that room and then try to enter it, what do you see? Like you see a lot of dust. So these thoughts that come are like dust which come when you start to sit into meditation, and that's normal. That's for everyone. That is how it starts. And then you just let it, you just be the observer of the dust that is coming, and then it will fall on its own. You don't have to do anything, is what he kind of gave an explanation to me, Santosh Buddha. So then, okay, I kept reassuring myself that it's normal. I'm going into this thoughtful, like full of thoughts loop. Whenever I'm in that thought loop, whenever my awareness came back that, oh, I'm in this continuous thought, I used to say that, okay, be gentle with yourself. Let me get back to the breath again. So I used to do this over and over and over. Like every time that thought came, I came back to breath. By gently, I'm not judging myself, or I'm not being, you failed, nothing. I used to be very kind and compassionate to myself at that time during this process. That kind of helped me stay there, and then continue this meditation every day. Even though thoughts came, I saw that they were reducing. At the beginning they were many, but then uh, the whole point of this is that you being consistent will take you somewhere else. So that kind of is the lesson that I learned, that you be consistent in whatever way you can, that will lead you to somewhere.
That is very, you've explained it very well. A journey which most of us go through. The dust is there, and as we maintain the consistency over weeks and months and years, the dust actually does settle.
Yeah.
So, in your journey, uh, you've sort of you've spoken about Kundalini Shakti, etc. But, being a gentle force within. So, are there any experiences you can share with us?
Oh, yeah. There were many, but then one thing I wanted to mention to viewers is that when I started this journey, it was full of thoughts. There was nothing other than thoughts that I had started with. Um, um, all the things that happened to me were used to like flash in front of me. All the things I did, all the things somebody else did. It was all for about 1 year. I've been in this continuous practice of awareness from the breath to the thoughts, and then back to
Awareness.
breath. I did this for several, like 1 year at least. In January of 2026, I did a full moon meditation, like at home only. I used to do because, like I said, with kids at home and my work, I used to just go with whatever works for me rather than a fixed time. Um, at that time, every day I used to do meditation, but it was about mostly 30 minutes or 40 minutes. But on the full moon day, I noticed that I sat there for 3 hours. I didn't realize it was 3 hours. Then suddenly, neck rotation started happening to me. I didn't do anything on my own. It started on its own. Then I was like, before this neck rotation started happening to me, like I said, YouTube feeds used to come to me, like Kundalini awareness, people sharing Kundalini experiences. I heard this point that it is a subtle life force which you can trust, and then you just give into that force, and then it will do its job. um, I kept sitting there with the neck rotation. Sometimes I used to get about 100 neck rotations left or right. Sometimes my neck used to completely fall to the back of the head and then stay in that position for like 1 hour. But amongst all of this, I want to mention is that there was not even neck pain for me, even though I did hold in the one position for like 1 hour. I don't know how that life force did it, but it happened to me. Like either I used to bend backwards or forward tilt, stay in that position for like 1 hour, and then I don't know what the life force was doing, but I was just being there. All I had to do was sit there. That's all, and then everything else was taken care. Um, I have listed like all the experiences that I got. Can I share,
Yes,
Dinesh?
please, share the most, sort of
Yeah,
experiences which will sort of inspire
sure.
the viewers.
I used to see a lot of gold color visions, and I saw the snake coiling up around a stick like this in front of my eyes. It used to happen. My eyes were closed at that time, but these are all the visions that I got. I saw a lot of colors: purple, blue, red. And there was a feeling or sensation that there was water drops falling me from the forehead till the nose, like it was like dripping, like it used to give me that feeling. um, I saw a big hand symbol right on my face, like a vision of palm symbol. And also there were like a golden gate opening, like clouds in the mist sort of vision. Um, and there was a pyramid-like shape right in front of my nose. Like when I closed my eyes, these were all the visions that I saw. And one thing that I noticed is that when I clasp my fingers like this, I used to sit in this position when I was meditating. There was like a hollow vacuum like spin. It is spinning like a globe spinning in my hands. That kind of sensation that I observed. Um, and I saw a lot of symbols also. One is Trishul, one is Om symbol, and one is eight. Like I was rotating my neck in a eight symbol like this. So it used to happen automatically and very subtle, very gentle. There is nothing, no force, no pressure, very subtle. And one other thing that I noticed, which I felt little scary, was that in the mouth there was chakra movement, like it was moving, rotating in a high speed. But I kept asking the inner energy that give me the strength and the courage to be here, be present with awareness with whatever is happening in front of me. And One other vision is that there was a like coil, and then two snakes were coiling around, like around the third eye. um, at one point, I noticed that when my neck was in a halt position for like 1 hour, I was breathless for I don't know how many minutes. The breath was completely halted, but I was still aware and then alive, like to see all of that what is happening. And then Yeah, many like for several months I have had this ringing in the ears, like right ear. There used to be a ringing sound. I used to meditate when that happens, but um, one other thing that I noticed is that when neck rotations was happening, there was a lot of headache for me at the top layer, like in here, like something like a headache here. And then there were also small body aches, like on the right leg. They were all subtle and gentle. They were not stopping my work from happening, but these were all the signs that I noticed. One important point that I wanted to mention is that during the meditation, I don't know when it happened, but at one point I kept repeating, inside itself, Tatvamasi, Tatvamasi. I never heard this word myself outside, but I kept repeating that so many times. Then after the meditation session, then I researched what that means. Then it said that it is called I am that. So the soul might be answering me at that time because I was asking these questions. So then I maybe kind of got answers from there. And one other important thing that I want to mention is that I started writing in my meditation. My inner voice kind of made me sit and then write some things. I don't know. It started telling me some stuff that is going to happen in the future. Um, it is not that I am writing, but my hand and the pen suddenly it starts moving on its own. I can sense that. Yeah. So,
So, thank you very much for sharing your Kundalini experiences. You surrendered to the spirit. You surrendered to the energy, and the energy did its work.
yeah.
Obviously, not everyone would have these experiences, but the most important thing is that when we meditate and your inner soul telling you the Upanishad Mahavakya Tattvamasi is phenomenal, because that is the truth that all of us are seeking to experience through meditation. So, what is your message to viewers who are starting on their meditation journey? What are the tips that you can give, and anything else that you want to share with people who have started meditating?
Uh, yes. What helped me, please try that, is what I would suggest. That don't go with what everybody around you are saying. Just go with what your inner voice is saying. I would suggest everyone to use this as an identifier that what you are trying to do, if it doesn't hurt others, if it doesn't hurt you, then you can do it, is my suggestion. That is your indicator, because many people say many things out of ignorance, and we kind of limit ourselves based on what others say or talk about us. But find your own inner knowing, because if it can happen to me, then it can happen to you also, because we are all from the same life force. It's like we are all drops of the same ocean. When we go back to the same ocean. So it's the same awareness that is between all of us. So please trust yourself, trust your intuition, sit there. Consistency will lead you to the higher awareness. That's all I can say. Every day, if you can practice for 2 minutes of sitting in silence, please do that. 7 minutes, please do that. But every day, if you sit there and make a note, that will lead you to the higher awareness without anybody's help. The most message that stuck to me is that you don't need a guru. Your breath is the guru, that Patriji has shared in the PSSM videos. I just went with that blindly. There is no other looking back. I have not had any guru other than what I reached out myself to the people whom I saw on YouTube sharing their experiences. But my breath was my guru. So if my breath can be my guru, your breath can be your guru too.
So, what, what profound message that you have given. In Sanskrit it said, Atma Dipo Bhava. So, we'll find the way ourselves. And Patriji's message, your breath is your guru, and everything will start happening. So, Tulsiji, thank you so much for sharing your journey with such honesty and openness.
Sure.
What stands out is how awakening doesn't always arrive through dramatic events. Sometimes it comes through a neighbor's story, a stranger in the park, a moment of confusion, or a quiet whisper inside that says there is more. And in your case, the whisper was Tattvamasi.
Yeah.
Your path reminds us that spirituality isn't about escaping life, but about meeting it with clarity, with compassion, choosing truth even when it's difficult, and learning to observe life rather than react to it. For everyone watching, Tulsi's story is a beautiful reminder that awakening is not reserved for the few. It's available to anyone willing to listen inwardly, to question gently, and to follow the next small step that feels true. Tulsi, thank you very much for being here, and thank you for being a living example of authenticity in action. Thank you.
Thank you, Dinesh.